What were you saying? You get what?
I should get. I'm looking. I was saying that I think with a bigger chain,
Yeah.
my House of Black membership pendant, I
Yeah.
could rock it IRL. Like I would wear it in real life with a bigger chain.
Yo, I was listening to some Eminem came on the other day.
Why did you ask me what I said if you already had a thing to say?
But this is part of that.
Okay, got it. I'm sorry for
Because it
jumping
was,
down
you
your
know, the
throat.
Eminem song where he's like, "Won't the real Slim Shady please stand up?"
I love that song.
Yes,
And then
classic.
and then I was thinking about the House of Black. He would ask people to stand up.
Yeah,
He doesn't really do that anymore.
he doesn't.
Em-
He hasn't really had an opportunity to.
It's so uninteresting.
Yeah,
It's so uninteresting. We
But I
almost
wanna
should start
see-
over because of how interesting that was. But I literally, but it is
you just
hilarious.
noticed that he doesn't ask people to stand up.
It is so funny how much wrestling like permeates my brain like every day. That like I hear like, "Won't the real Slim Shady please stand up?" I'm like, "Oh, Malachi Black asked people to stand up." remember when he did that? You know, like I don't even. If a meme doesn't have wrestling in it, it's irrelevant to me. There's no point. There's no point to the non-wrestling meme.
Yeah,
Because all great mimicry is wrestling. Like wrestling exists for meme culture almost, you know?
for sure. I mean, it's absurdity. Yeah, I said this years ago when I like first was on the pod. Like it when you look at wrestling objectively, it makes no sense for it to exist, and yet it does.
Well, that's the whole problem is that like, the people who don't get it are the people who don't get wrestling, and it's hilarious. How long are we going to do this podcast? We're still going to talk about people who don't get wrestling. Like, fuck
Right.
those people. Who cares?
Right.
But it is interesting. It's like they don't get it in a way. What's interesting is people don't get pro wrestling because they're not on the same plane of existence of what it is. You know what I mean?
They're at a lower vibration than
Yeah.
pro wrestling, which
Right.
is saying a lot.
You're talking, yeah, well, and they might be operating at a higher level of sense, and
Sure.
I can give them that. But like, it's always what are the complaints about pro wrestling? Like, what are the I don't get it? The I don't get it is always like that. It's
It's
not
always
real
just that it's
sports,
fake.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not,
the outcomes are predetermined.
and it's not trying to be. But you're like, hey, it's not trying to pretend it's real.
Anymore.
It is a right. It is a soap opera, right? It is a show. It is a scripted television program based in the base reality of a sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
And you would understand that if it was the same. If it was like you get it when it's no
Ted
one's watching
Lasso.
like, any given Ted Lasso, perfect. Any given Sun, no one's watching like it's hilarious. Ted Lasso is so much more relevant than any given Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't even think half our listeners.
Any given Sunday. Oh my God, James
Well,
Vanderbeek.
the Oliver
Great movie.
Stone classic.
No, James Vanderbeek is in Varsity Blues.
Oh, Varsity Blues, whatever. There was that spat of like of like dickhead football movies in like the 2000s.
Right. Then there are other.
I don't want your life.
It was either that or it was a lot of main characters wearing varsity jackets. Like I think The Faculty was a horror movie, and it was like a guy. It's like every movie in like 2000 to 2008, somebody's wearing a varsity jacket.
The one thing that dawned on me when people complain, one of my complaints about pro wrestling I had came from someone recently who was not who was watching. This was like in the past couple of years, like 2 years, and they were a wrestling fan, respected wrestling, but they were like not a mark, but a fan, let's say, right? Someone who has some love for wrestling.
Sure.
Um,
A patron of.
I'll put him in that like Gabrus zone. Like, it's like Gabrus doesn't like watch any current day wrestling, but is a guy who like isn't calling wrestling stupid. Right? He's like someone who like if you explain it to him, he'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." He might pop in to watch something. If he's flicking through, he'll keep it on. Right?
Right.
And then he was watching like NXT and then was making the point to me where he was like, it's just none of the characters are interesting. And that is something that is hard. That's something that I got to be like, I have no defense for that.
Sure.
I really have no defense for that. I understand if you turned on pro wrestling, right? And you're like, hey, my guys were Ultimate Warrior. And even a guy like Scott Hall, and Razor, right? Like, let's talk about a zeitgeisty guy who just passed away, right? We talked a lot about Scott Hall last episode. Make sure to check that out if you're looking to see our tribute to the bad guy, But it, if you, I have no defense for that, like, and especially let's just bring it back to rip on Adam Cole because it's what I do best. It's like when these guys are turning on the show and they see like some shrimp in a fucking in 1/5 of a Master Chief costume. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I have no defense for that. Like, if you turn on pro wrestling and you see a wrestler wearing like Halloween costume, like Wolverine claws, there's really no defense. Like, right? Like that being
Right.
said, I won't even. And I don't mean that to insult those wrestlers. To be, I mean, I guess I do it a little bit, but I don't totally mean it to be. Because I in the culture, I understand how that happened, right? Meaning, like, I can watch Gargano wear Iron Man costume, right? And I could still appreciate the talents of Gargano.
Right.
Is what I mean, because I have the full context. I am talking about how, if my friend turned on the show and saw Master Chief with no pants on,
Right.
like,
But wait. If I can challenge that for a second,
yeah,
if they turned on that same show 30 seconds later and saw the Adam Cole Bay and saw everybody popping for him, don't you think that they would have that opposite reaction?
it's a good point. It's like if
Well-
you see how the crowd's into it.
Right.
Like AEW in general, if you turn on that product, and I think that's where Tullo's headed, and I'll let you talk, Tullo, but I was saying,
I'm actually heading somewhere else. So.
oh, okay, Tullo. Hey, I'll see you later.
See you later, buddy.
Hey, folks, I feel
Been,
like we're
yo,
going
this
to
is a
different
great
directions.
pod, guys.
Yeah.
That was great.
just popping in.
See you later.
I feel like you that's the cool thing about AEW is that the whole energy of it's so infectious. It's clearly like that something's going on here. Vibe to put it
Right.
to Dipperstein it up. There's something
Yeah.
going on that you'd have to kind of just be like, well, I guess I got to keep this on because this is very interesting.
Right.
This is Comedians of Wrestling podcast, by the way. Welcome to COW world. I'm Dan Black. If you turn off my podcast, I'll fucking kill you.
Later. You're dead.
Patreon.com/comedians wrestling. Support this podcast. Give us a couple bucks. We got a Discord where you can talk pro wrestling, and we come at you for fucking years talking wrestling, giving you what you need, giving you what you want, baby. Also, check out, if you're going to WrestleMania, you're going to be in Dallas Thursday before, March 31st. Me and Dolph Ziggler doing a comedy show. DZ Does Dallas. Nick Tullo, who's here, I haven't introduced him yet, but he did speak, will be at and on the show. DZ Does Dallas. Tickets are at eventbrite.com. I never remember to bring it up, the link, because that's it's kind of how we do's it here, baby. But I don't have it. What?
Prepared?
Oh, prepared.
Bring up the link.
It's
is a
Eventbrite. DZ,
high
all you
tech
gotta do
way
is
of
Google
saying-
DZ Does Dallas at eventbrite.com or check Dolph Ziggler's Instagram at Heel Ziggler. That's the link in his bio. It's probably a faster way to get to it. But you can also go to dzdoesdallas.eventbrite.com. DZ Does Dallas. If you're my dad and you want to go right to the URL, what was the last time you
DZ
typed a proper URL to find
Ego.
something? Like the
All the
full
time.
URL. You do that all the time?
all the time. I'm always
Really?
I'm always going to new websites. I'm always trying to find new web spaces that no one's been on. So I just type random stuff in there.
When was the last time you typed in a URL? Like, what was
Today.
it? What was it? What was it?
Today, I just typed in www.meetsock.com just
Yeah,
to see.
right. And what?
Just to
what-
see.
And what was it?
It was like a GoDaddy, like you can buy this page.
Oh, no one had that.
No one had it yet.
Okay.
But I typed the full thing out. I had to.
Anthony Kiedis didn't pick that up. He wanted to post his old fucking. What was that? Woodstock? The Woodstock revamp?
They did that for a while.
Yeah, there was a lot. RHECP.
Yeah.
We're doing. They had a big cocksock face. Did they
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, I mean, sort of famously.
Yeah. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Interesting. Are they good or bad?
Good.
Yeah, I would say good also, right? But they take a lot of shit. No.
Well, because they're cheesy. They're good. They have some amazing albums, some amazing songs, but then they stayed at the party too long.
But because like when I was coming up, like in the world, coming up sounds like I was coming up in a scene. I mean, when I was coming up, meaning getting older and aging and living. Uh,
It is a scene. It is a scene, man.
It is a scene of itself, man. Aging is the ultimate scene, my man. When you really think about
Hell
it,
yeah,
Daddy-o.
bro. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yeah, man.
Red Hot Chili Peppers were just cool, and the switch of them being not cool was almost like overnight.
Californication.
Right, but,
Yeah.
but it's almost weird because I would argue that I don't well, like the California stuff I thought was all pretty good. I was all kind of into it.
Yeah, but that was the moment he started doing like the Rama Lava Ting Chong Chiga Chong Ching. Like all that stuff was like
Well, you check out comedian John Daly. He does all the funniest. I think he does it on Comedy Bang Bang and stuff. That guy's funny. He's one of my first improv teachers, actually. He
Comedians of Red Hot Chili Peppers podcast, by the way.
COWRHCP.
he had a song where he pretended it was a new song when Red Hot Chili Peppers were doing the halftime show, and he made a song called "Abracadabra for Occasion." Do you remember that?
No.
It was Abracadabra, California.
Abracadabra, California.
Yeah, and it's so fucking funny because it got up. I'm gonna do it, but you gotta find it. You gotta look it up.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
so
look it
fucking
up.
good because it's a perfect parody song.
Right.
And it goes in the chorus. It goes bing a bang a bang a bang Burbank gig 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 Glendale. It's so fucking.
That's
funny.
so stupid.
It's
Yeah.
one of the funniest things. Yeah. And it literally the whole song is like it's just him being like heading down to the 10 and then going to the 405. Like that's the whole fucking thing. It's perfect parody. You guy's funny. He does it on like the Comedy Bang Bang. He does the Peppermint is what his character's called. Anyway, very funny what the band's called. Anyway, he's a nasty boy. Nasty Newman, Alex Newman Hagen in the house.
How about it?
You already heard him, and then you've tiptoed with him. You've
That's right.
tiptoed with him all the way from Long Island, New York, down to Austin, Texas, and you'll be tiptoeing with him possibly to Dallas, a 4-hour drive in the truck, baby. Mr. Nick Tullo in the Heezy.
You know what I'm going to do right now? Go
What?
throw it back. Remember this day? When I
Way
used to
back.
go
How far?
7:24 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Oh my God!
It's your boy, Tiptoe with Tullo.
I love.
How
Have
you
we ever
doing, dude?
done this show with 4 time zones? Meaning,
Yeah,
Sheb's
probably
in
with
Hawaii.
Shebs. Yeah,
Yeah,
Billy
Have we
Joe
ever
Coast.
done it?
Yeah, yeah.
Have we ever done it where someone was in New York
Absolutely.
also?
Yeah,
Absolutely, Phil.
Yeah, we've done that. That's crazy. That we'll
We
be
might
in
even
4 time zones.
Just 20 left.
There could have been, there might even be more depending on where Skylar might have been in a time zone also.
I think Skylar's always like in Vancouver, and that's Pacific, right?
Yeah.
Who knows
Or
what
he's
that
in
is,
like
I don't even
fucking
know.
Thailand or something.
He could hit like because Central's different than Mountain, right?
Moscow.
By one. By the way, this is the comedians of Mountain Time. We are now this is 0.5% Mountain Time talk, right?
Right.
The time zone talk.
Which is basically just like it's like this is when the sun is out for where you are.
Man,
It's just a measurement of that.
every time this podcast starts, I remember that I want to get a shirt that says Gizmo Duck gives no fucks, and I always forget about it.
That's the curse of Gizmo Duck gives no fucks. It's the minute you're done with the podcast, you're just like, oh,
Yeah, I think his vibe, like it permeates my brain, and
it needs to be perfect though. We can't rush it. Like we need to find.
Yeah, it will never get released. I'm telling you guys this right now.
Yeah.
hey,
Can I celebrate something? Hey,
Yes.
listen.
I was gonna say
Please.
something so shitty, so I would like to go over to Tullo.
Congratulations on your improv show, Dan. It looked like it was a big hit. And
Oh,
I know, I mean, we returned back to normal state of living, it feels like, and it's dope to see you bring back something you love near and dear to your heart back to the forefront of comedy. And I know how much you care about improv, and it's weird because I'm not a comedian, but I feel like I've learned a lot just from being on this pod, and it's dope to see you succeed. Sold out another Donnie sellouts, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy just
He
stays
sells
selling
out
shit.
every night.
He
Yeah.
sells out every night.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, Tullo.
Congrats,
First
man.
off, thank you very much.
That's
Was-
two
yeah, of
sold out
course.
shows in a row.
What?
No, because was Tina in San Antonio? Was that match? Was that sold out?
No.
Okay.
That show was not sold out for so many reasons.
So asterisks 2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row. Vegas was sold out.
Big time.
Yeah,
Oversold.
absolutely. Yeah.
We broke the fire code.
Yeah. But you know, New York's a pain in the ass. By the way, for like in general, doing stuff in New York,
Yeah.
it's a pain in the ass. I just want to say, especially when you're planning around WWE events, you're getting venues close to the venues there and blah blah blah. You know, I don't know. I gotta really, Anyway, we pulled it off for WrestleMania, but I'm gonna be selective about anything I'm doing in New York from now on. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has to be planned like very perfectly. Now, thank you, Tullo. I appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, just to give context for people, though, if you follow this pod, hey, at Dan Black Attack, probably should be plugging my socials every episode, but it's again, that would make way too much sense. At Dan Black Attack, check me out on there, and also if you want to follow my new show, because I'm looking to build the Instagram of my new live improv show in LA at Last Improv Show. Yes, not the. It's called The Last Improv Show, but I didn't put the in it. But yeah, Last Improv Show. Check it out. Started a show. It's at the Elysian Theater here in LA, which is a very cool space, new space. Yeah, I mean, fuck, we sold it out. Listen, I miss doing. I joked when I was hosting the show how improv is like literally the last thing to come back. I was like, it's the last. I was like, because improvisers are last responders, is what I said. It's like, and I was like, we're punished for our art because we like have to get close to do this.
Right.
And literally, like the first scene, Darcy and Drew Tarver are like making out right away. And I was like, wow, social distancing truly dead up here.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was a great show. Great to see some cowheads in the audience.
Yeah.
I
Who
will
was
say.
that? Who did you too sweet in the
Billy, who told me he was coming, who wrote me a
Nice.
message. He's like, he wrote me a message. I appreciated the DM. I love cow support for things I do outside of cow. Always very fun to me. Well, let's see the message he wrote me. Billy Slane hit me up and said, oh shit, I can't find it. But he was like, oh, if I missed the show, I don't want you to kill me, something like that. Oh, you'll fucking kill me if I miss the show, so I'll be there, something like that. So shout out to him wearing the cow hoodie, and then also for the Last Improv Show theme song. You know how I incorporate wrestling into everything I do. Is the Shinsuke theme, but the WrestleMania 34 Nina Strauss remix.
Ooh,
where
nice.
she shreds up top. You know what I mean? So it kicks off the show, and I have the God mic. I got the God mic in the backstage, which means like just the mic, like where you can't see me, but I'm off screen,
Right.
And so I'm just yelling on the mic over the Shinsuke build up. It's great because wrestling music, I always incorporate.
You know what's fucked up is that I watched that clip and I heard there's like a fraction of a second and I heard this, and I was like, did he fucking use Shinsuke's theme?
Yeah, like half a second.
That's all I got. And I was like, wait a minute.
I can name that wrestling song in one tune.
One, two.
Didn't even like cross my mind. Like it was like immediately like first thing I did. So here's actually what happened. I was like, all right, I gotta like they send you, when you do a show, they send you a techie. They're like, hey, what tech stuff do you need? And you're always, when I'm doing a show, you always want to just tell the tech, play whatever music you want, But then you're like, nah, you're gonna fuck it up. You know what I mean? They're gonna play some stupid ass shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then I'm like, all right, I'll go through music. So I go, what's the first thing? And the first song I played when I went was Finn Balor. I was like, maybe that'll be cool. You know what I mean? Like, because I was like, I'll do a talk up over the Finn, like I would do for the 9 to 5s. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I played that, and then I was like, this is a little too like. It's not like fun. It's too it's too violent. You know what I mean?
On the nose.
Yeah. And then right under it was Shinsuke. And then underneath it was WrestleMania 34 edition Shinsuke. I was like, let me check out what that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh, yes. And then I played that for Christina, and she's like, I like that. What is that? And you forget it's like we're kind of like over Shinsuke's song, you know what I mean? But you gotta remember how fucking great that song is,
So is that a live track?
No, like in Spotify, they just have a version of it.
Whoa!
They
So
just
they recorded it.
They have a
Oh,
version
because she
of
was
it.
probably not even really. Well, she had to play to something, right? So like,
I think she was playing live
she
there.
was
I
shredding.
think they
Yeah,
might
she
have
was
just
shredding live.
made
But
a version of it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just to like, because Spotify's is essentially a version of
they
social
probably brought
media
her
at this
into the
point.
studio.
Right.
They probably brought her into
Yeah,
the
I got
studio to record it.
doing her
Yeah,
best Eddie Van Halen impression.
Yeah, it's like Betty Van Halen. You know?
Yeah.
So it goes. I didn't plan it out, but then I was just like, Los Angeles, what's up, motherfuckers?
Yeah. It had a feel of Ruru.
Yeah, and I was like, you want to see the best improv show since fucking 2019? But then it's cool because
This song is fucking fire.
it's still so fire. It's just like such a bummer. Shinsuke. Oh my god, I was watching him with here, and then it goes.
This is what I heard.
I mean,
First AJ?
That's the one for when he had AJ and he heel turned post match. If you remember,
Was that the one? Because wasn't there two? There was two matches.
Oh,
One of them.
the violin at NXT. Was
One of
insane.
them was. One of the matches against AJ was like really shitty, right?
Yeah, so I mean
Like
that
the
match.
first one.
Yeah, it was.
wasn't
It
that
was
good.
the Mania match was shitty. Everyone was so they wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom 10, I believe,
Right.
and everyone everyone was like, "Wow, they're gonna do it again." And that, if you remember, man, this is when WWE was like, this is when WWE and I had this exact thought about WWE when I was watching. I watched Raw and SmackDown this week and NXT, and I was like. But the culture of wrestling for so many years when we were doing this pod and just watching it was wrestling's awesome, and every once in a while WWE it'll poke through by accident in WWE, and that's all we're looking for, right? Like we live for that, like those moments. And if you remember, there was like a ladder match, I believe, Money in the Bank ladder match, and Shinsuke and AJ were at the top of the ladder, both fighting over the ladder, and everyone was going nuts because they're like. It's
they weren't even at
Shinsuke.
the top. They took the ladder and moved it to the side.
Right.
I remember that was the
Yeah.
moment. I think I was live for that. Yeah.
Right. And everyone was like, oh my God, like finally these guys are wrestling on American soil is really kind of what we're thinking. Like the subtext is that, right?
Right.
It's not like I guess part of it is in WWE because it was our company.
Well, it just means they're wrestling in a accessible place.
Mm-hmm. Right. And also, let's be honest, like at that time in the major leagues, like WWE was the equivalent of like, oh, now they're in the NFL, you know? Right. So, and they can have that match at Mania. That's taking a Wrestle Kingdom match.
The veil was still pulled over our eyes
at
that point. And
that's actually a great segue because, so thank you to on the show. And I love it. I love to see the fucking cow marks coming out. We'll have another show in April at Elysian. I suspect that, like, get your tickets when the link goes up. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know. We sold it out pretty fast, you know? So people are looking to watch improv if you're in LA.
Shout out to Elysian Theater, too.
Yeah. Yeah, which was awesome because I emailed with Elysian, and they immediately were like, yo, you do a pod with Newman, you know? The Elysian, the woman who runs the theater was, Newman had worked with her in the past.
Yes.
Yes. So,
yep.
You had taught her improv?
Yep. Yeah, I was completely unqualified to do so, but did so anyway. Yeah, no, I was like a director of a team at one of the Philly Improv Theater.
Yeah.
For like a year.
But yeah, so it's always weird because it's like, I don't know if there's a lesson here. Anyone wants this for a wrestling podcast. It might lose a listener or two, but Tullo brought this up, and it's just like starting anything new. Requires so much effort and emotion. Mm-hmm. You know, like I don't know if you guys know, like for years I was just someone who people put in their shows, you know, and it's a really nice spot to be because it's like even if it doesn't do anything, you're cool about it. Like even if it doesn't sell out or whatever, you're happy to support whoever does it. But when it's your show and you're like inviting people to do it and blah blah blah, you know, it starts being like, man, I hope this goes well. I hope everybody has fun. I
Mhm.
hope that we sell out, we sell tickets, and blah blah blah, and like all that. It ends up being way more of an emotional thing, you know. And also, we start in this new world of improv. You know, improv was gone, and we're bringing it back, and all our hub where we used to do it is gone. And but so anyway, thank you for all the
Yeah.
cow listeners who come out to support me doing that. I
In
really
the
appreciate you
interim,
guys for that.
everybody actually just like started actually going to therapy instead of treating improv like therapy.
Yeah.
But now improv's back and we don't have to go to therapy anymore.
Don't worry, we had a therapy scene in there, and some pedophilia, I believe. But you know, it's
course.
what happens. But it is.
Pedophilia.
Let's go
It's
into
what happens.
WrestleMania season. Pedophilia. It's what happens.
Let's cut that out.
No, it's in.
Ugh. All right.
Everyone knows you kidding. You were, and I brought it up.
I know,
Take
but it's still gross to talk about.
But I want to say is that well, I'll say one.
We
last thing
will
about the
not
show.
get derailed by this.
I'll say one last thing about the show. Won't
Keep
derail
going.
us, but it is like I'm noticing my voice is a little shot, and it's
Yeah.
still from the show. And it's so I'm hosting the show, and I'm hosting the show like
Full speed.
fucking wrestling style. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like full
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Like let's get and, like you ever see it like. People don't do that. You know what I mean? And I you can see the video. It's on my Instagram. Like you see. And then I get to the back line to switch into improv mode. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. And I'm like, yo, I'm burnt out. Like I'm overheated. I
Gassed.
have no voice. I'm gassed. Like I
Yeah.
introed everybody. I was
You
gassed.
truly are the ultimate warrior. You come out loud and boisterous,
Yeah,
and
bro.
then 30 seconds later, you're spent.
Fucking Goldberg of improv. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It's all about the
Bangs his head against the
spectacle.
locker before he goes out.
It's about the muscles and the spectacle. That's it.
Like, so I'm on the back line. I'm like, holy shit, I'm so thirsty, you know? And Anthony King is a great performer, is on stage with me, you know? And he brought a water out like a responsible adult. I steal his water. I just chugged his water. Because I was like, yo, I'm so fucking thirsty. My whole throat is like gone. I'm drenched in sweat because I'm just yelling at the crowd like I'm fucking Ultimate Warrior. And then I couldn't listen. It was like my first half I did of the show was just me just red as shit. Like I think everyone was looking at me like, yo, Dan, what's going on with you? Like, you know. It was like, anyway.
That is the best.
It was so fucking dumb. Oh, anyway. Well, I told them, I was like, next show I have to bring a case of water. Like I have to prepare.
Right.
Anyway,
Do some sit-ups or something. Jesus Christ.
we are in the road. We are in and on and driving. We're deeply on the road to WrestleMania. I mean, WrestleMania is like 12, 13, 14 days away, something like that. Okay.
Is it really?
I think it's exactly
10?
14 days away, right?
Whoa.
Because it's Sunday, right? So it's 2 weeks from today. It has to be,
Saturday.
right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
Saturday.
2 weeks.
So,
Baker's week.
oh yeah. By the way, 0.1% Bakers doesn't talk. Great job. We had to hit that. Plastic on Long Island couches is a thing. We gotta hit all the topics. All the topics.
But a baker's week is 13 days, so it's shorter than a 2 week.
Oh my god, a Baker's week is. I mean, they still get
They
paid
get
at
one
the
day
same
off.
amount.
Yeah, you gotta make bagels every day except for one of the days.
But I'm like trying to think of. I was Passovering it. I was like, why is this year different than every other year for WrestleMania? Because I've been to so many WrestleMania weeks on this podcast. You can go back where we're like, yeah, we're not that pumped up for it. You know what I mean? But I was like, this one is a little different. You know? And I was like, why? And I think it is exactly. I mean, it directly corresponds to AEW, but we are missing that whole part of WWE that is like those Shinsuke AJ things, you know, like those moments where what we want to see creeps in to the point that they can't deny it, you know,
Right.
and it's like we're missing the whole like us versus the machine thing. It's like gone, where it's like we still watch it, but we're mad at it, and then when it's great, we are like, oh fuck yeah, that happened. And you have this base reality of shit, which is like Roman Brock, that's always gonna happen. But then all of a sudden, creeps in, you get AJ Shinsuke, right?
Right.
And so you're like, now you have AJ Shinsuke. You have that match, which is the Cody Rollins match, right?
Right.
Like that's the one that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and what's up? Oh, okay. It's good. That's fine. You're allowed to come out. Say anything. Oh yeah, okay, that's good. Cody Rollins match. I'm podcasting. Okay, it's very important. The Cody Rollins match. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making a fucking important point here. Okay, goodbye. No, you.
This episode was brought to you by Factor.
No, they don't actually sponsor this podcast.
No, that's
Stop
bad.
that.
We shouldn't do that.
Yeah, we shouldn't do that. They're an actual guy. That's probably a sponsor we could get, right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Okay, we're sponsored by Factor. That's fine. We'll go to Factor. Their meals are okay.
And rice cakes.
It was a sponsor we could have gotten.
So, like, all right, reports are, let's sidetrack it. Piece of news. We don't just do hard-hitting wrestling, does everybody? Cody signed 14 days ago is what they're saying, right? You
Right.
saw that?
Right.
So Cody signed to WWE. But it seems that what the plan is, and I believe that, is that Cody, probably Seth will come out of Mania, and he'll do a thing which is like, it's bullshit, I should be on Mania. And then Cody's
Right.
music's going to hit, right? That seems to be the plan.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
So this is not happening in a way that feels like the Shinsuke AJ moment, which is like,
Right. Well, but the Shinsuke AJ moment, the first one,
yeah,
ended up, and this is what they always do, like they accidentally had it make sense in retrospect because the following match they like
the
let loose
following
on each
match.
other. So it was like a purposely blue ballsy match because the next one they went off.
Kind of like what they just did with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Like
They
the
kinda
match
got-
at Revolution wasn't that great, but it led to the cage match. You know?
Yeah, because if I was in the house at New Orleans when that happened, and the low blow moment, the match was boring, but the low blow was huge. You know,
Right.
after the match, and they kept them baby. So I actually thought I would say that was a win, right? 'Cause
Sure.
Then we had, but I agree. But I'm saying like, so there's nothing in this Mania for the Smark.
Right.
That's the real point, and you have 2 nights of it. I mean,
Right.
there's nothing in there where you're like, all right, there's a bunch of bullshit, but that. But that being said, we do have this Cody match,
Well, because they fired all their but that's
right?
straight up.
Yeah, like what? So, and then you have Edge AJ, which just feels like they're trying to make that one of those matches, which I keep
Mhm.
saying, and that's not it. So
No.
you watch WWE, and it's like Ronda is not clicking in any capacity. Like, I mean, this Ronda experiment. Charlotte has to win clean because she's just not working at all. I mean, Christina watched Ronda segment with me, and is like excited, like right, like someone who's not like a long-term wrestling fan. You put it on, and she's like, "Well, Ronda Rousey, like she looks cool, and that's someone I know." And then even when she gets that mic, she's just like, "Yeesh." Wow. And they're trying to tell the story that she has more to offer, she's not one note, and she now has the ankle lock that she's like been working on with Kurt Angle, like that
Ronda shines in moments where there's physical violence involved. Like
yeah.
this week, she shined because she just came out, interrupted, and they literally beat the shit out of each other, and she took a crazy bump. So like that's where she's the best. But it has no business like even getting this kind of vibe going into it with whatever story that they're trying to tell. The
Yeah, I
story
mean, it's the main event of night one,
Yeah, like
Eh.
just let them beat the shit out of each other,
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, I think the match will be okay. I think my prediction is that after that match, we'll go like Ronda and Charlotte did a good job. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately we're just talking about the excitement of Mania, and I do believe this to be the lowest I can ever think of.
Yeah.
Would I be wrong to say that?
Yeah, I have.
I didn't even know WrestleMania was in 2 weeks.
And that being said, Mania has an amazing ability that, like, when it's Mania weekend, you'll be like, oh, awesome, I get to watch WrestleMania. And the
Sure.
spectacle of it will be massive. And planes
Yeah.
will fly over. And the pyro will be dope. And, like,
Yeah.
matches will surprise you and be amazing. And moments will happen. Like, it's WrestleMania.
100%.
And I'm excited to go because of
Right.
that. Like, I'm happy to be around WrestleMania for the rest of my life. I don't, you know, that is
Right.
what it is.
Is WrestleMania one of your guys?
100%. WrestleMania is one of my
Wow.
guys. Of course, WrestleMania is one of my guys, and that's why I want AEW to have their own WrestleMania. Like, if I had one complaint with AEW, is I do want them to get to, I do want them to emulate.
Yeah, but all their pay-per-views are big though. Like,
Yeah, but no, but
I agree, but I wish there was something every year that I was like that.
what the way that
Yeah,
I'll put
but-
it, Tullo, but
Yeah.
the way that I'll put it is, as I agree with Dan, but the way that I'll put it
Yeah.
is, they feel there's a lot that AEW is doing right now that feels big time, and they need
Yeah.
to step into the big time, and they need a big production.
Well, I will say that they've done a good job of not going for that until I think they're ready to do it. And
True.
And if they would have done it, it wouldn't have been right. But now they're in the money zone, so now they need to do it. And if honestly All Out is or Double or Nothing, it seems like the
Yeah.
Vegas, the bright lights.
Right.
The whole weekend they have SmackDown. They're gonna do it on Sunday. Like they're all their big pay-per-views are starting to have that big. Like Orlando was. You probably
When's
if
the
you
next-
went to Orlando,
when's
you
the
would have
next
been like,
All
this
Out?
feels like WrestleMania. Yeah. So like I think. Listen, I'll tell you right now. I was there live in person this week, and it was hands down one of the best wrestling cards like shows ever. Like,
Yeah, so
honestly.
let's.
I
I do
can
want to move
literally
on.
go over every single thing that happened at Dynamite and make a valid point of why this episode was perfect. Like,
So,
it
Tullo,
didn't miss.
I
at
wanted
all.
to just start with WrestleMania just because it's like we're
Yeah.
approaching Mania, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm liking babyface Brock. I'm excited for that. I wanted to address, but I wanted to say like, hey, I'm not ignoring the WWE in that
No,
zone,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like, AEW definitely stole the week again. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I want to say about WWE right now, going into Mania, is this Roman Reigns T-shirt. I thought this needle mover T-shirt was the worst thing I ever saw,
Mhm.
and now he's got a shirt that's got a God acronym. What is it? What is it? I texted it to you guys. I can't. It's the least. It doesn't work at all. The acronym for God.
Right. It's what was it? It was
Greatness on a different level.
yeah.
It is not at all God.
Yeah.
They have a couple of words off of each letter. You know, it is the
And then
worst.
it says, and then it just says level.
Yeah, it's GOADL technically. It's greatness on a different level. That's what it is. Great instead of like,
Godel.
it's the worst way. Why do you? First off, why do you need an acronym for God? It's the most powerful word that exists, arguably. So
Mhm.
why not make sure it's just like 'cause Roman being in God mode? I love. I think that's
Right.
great branding for
Yeah,
Roman.
just say God mode. Put
Just say God mode,
Right.
right?
God mode.
Yeah.
And then Roman's face looking like Doom guy with the fucking eyes whited out.
Whited
Done.
out. Exactly like Raiden or whatever is what I was
Done.
thinking, right? This is
Done.
God mode a Mortal Kombat thing?
It's a Doom thing.
Right. You would go to God mode where your eyes are gone. What there's not enough shirts with just
Doom or Quake or one of those. I think
the
it was
wrestler's
Doom. but-
face. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like seeing the wrestler on the shirt. I think for a while that was like kind of out of style. I always just dug it, you know.
Mhm.
Like I have a lot of shirts where it's just the wrestler's fucking head, like especially Roman. It's like Roman with whited out eyes. I mean, I'll probably buy that. Like
Right.
steam coming out of his nose or some shit. Like I'd buy the fuck out of that, you know.
Right. Right.
Uh,
But not Godel.
Yeah, but not Godel. The Godel is like, but anyway. But Tullo, I'm gonna throw to you.
I
Your
ripped my
boots
Godel.
on the ground for AEW Dynamite this week, which I thought was a really a great watch this week. And you were there. Tell us about your experience there, and tell us where you dictated as a. I appreciate the man with the ticket in the building.
Yeah, I went by myself. Drove to San Antonio, hour and a half.
San
Waited till the-
Antone.
I was
Sorry.
trying to buy. Yeah, I was trying to buy a ticket.
Oh no,
Well,
is that
like-
Sean?
Yeah, he's not coming.
No,
in,
he's
though.
not. Oh, he's not here. He's not here. Okay, sorry about that, Tullo.
Just on the outside of the door.
Yeah.
And I was looking at tickets. I couldn't, there was nothing really great. And I was only going to go if something like, I got myself a ticket down low. I really didn't feel, I had no desire to go and sit up top and it wasn't that big of a place anyway.
Are you saying if you got yourself a tick boy down low?
That's right, a tick boy
Yeah.
down low. And day of, like 2:30, I was like, let me check now, and boom, there was tickets available on the floor for like $100. So I just copped one, got home,
Oh,
showered.
you bought the tickets the
drove.
day of, and
Day of, they released extra tickets. My plan worked. I was like, they'll probably release extra.
You sat on the
tickets, right?
floor, right?
Yeah, 6 rows back on the hard, like just staring
For $100
straight into
bucks?
the
That's
for
pretty
$100
fucking
bucks, you
sweet.
sat on the floor for that
That's
for that
sweet.
cage match.
Yeah, right in
shit.
the center of it. And honestly, like, it was just there was so much that happened across the whole entire show for 2 hours. Not to mention, then Rampage happened after that, and just completely just. I went back and rewatched it because I only to find out that they don't show everything, right? So like I'm seeing all these different promos and things that happen, and I'm like, fuck, this show is even better than I even knew about. That cage match was so fucking dope. The crowd, the way they have built that story, AW is just doing like so fucking good. The Jericho stuff, the sports entertainer stuff, I mean, the Wheeler Yuta stuff, like every single thing from top to bottom hit. And they're doing it at a time where competition is at all-time high. Like WrestleMania is coming up, and they just got it. And they make like going there just an enjoyable experience. It felt massive. I had to go. I would have killed myself. That's a little extreme. I would have kicked myself in the ass. I would have kicked my own ass if I would have sat at home and watched it on my TV when I knew I could have been there, like to see that in person, especially that cage match. It was so sick, so well done.
So
Like, I'm like, I can't say enough good things about AEW. And if they're in your town, you have to go. Like when they come into the Forum, you guys have to go to the Forum. Like,
oh yeah, when are they coming to the Forum? I'm definitely going to that.
I don't know, but
June
like,
1st, I think.
something like that.
Why you laugh?
Why you laugh? But it's just so much fun, man. Just incredible performance. Tony Khan came out. It was Tony
Hello,
Khan.
everybody.
This is one of the best cards ever.
We have the top 1% of wrestling talent in this
Yeah, he's the Bernie Sanders of wrestling.
building right now.
It's great. It's just so much fun, man. It was just an incredible experience, and then to go back and watch it again, but like to really appreciate it from there in those seats. I cannot like ask me anything about what it might have been like, and it was just perfect, a perfect show.
Yeah, June 1st.
So here's what I would say about it. Let's break it down. First off, I agree with you. I had a great time watching that show. I watched the cage match twice. I would say this. I do have. The cage match was fucking great. I think Thunder Rosa being the champion, the timing felt great. Her entrance felt fucking big time. I love the mariachi, band. I thought that was cool. What do you got? The Ziggler shirt?
Oh no, I'm just cleaning.
And then here's what I would say about that match though. I watched it twice. I watched it and it was a little bit like, there was something a little off with some stuffs in this match, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, tell me if you agree or disagree with me. I felt like there were times where I was like, they did amazing shit in this match, and then they like undersold it for themselves sometimes. It's a nuanced point, but I was like, they had such big spots. I'm like, you should milk it a little bit. Like there was a power bomb onto Tax, and there was a power bomb on Tax where I was like, yo guys, you just did an incredible spot. Like sit in that, earn it, tease it. You know what I mean?
I think they were pressed. I think they were pressed for time. I think that's what happened.
You think that's what it was?
I think it was starting to become a timing thing.
Folding my wrestling shirts?
They don't see this side of the room.
Okay.
Well, I can't.
But we see the side of the room you're standing on in front of the camera.
What are you talking about? I'm not on camera.
Okay, Christina, please. I don't mind if
I'm
you fold.
practicing my improv. Did you guys know we had a show
Dan.
at the Elysian?
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Yeah,
All right,
we
we talked.
we-
Fold
we
the
gave
t-shirts.
praise.
Fold the t-shirts.
I think there might be something wrong with her brain. She doesn't know she's on camera.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for folding my shirt. By the way, I gave her the task. I was like, can you please fold my merch while I'm recording the podcast? That's
Oh
what I
my
said. Can
God, you
please,
gave
while
her
we're
the
recording-
Oh, nobody's
task.
listening.
I
Nobody
gave her
likes
the
wrestling.
task. I said, "Hey, go in the corner, fold my merch."
Anyway, so
Whoa!
I thought that was Shabiro for a second.
that piece of merch, we should actually just quickly give that
Your
shot.
audio's off.
Your audio. Something happened to your audio.
My audio's gone?
No, we can hear you. You just sound like you're in a tin can.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm here.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I switched up. That shirt is fucking sick, though. The Kofi
Yeah,
shirt.
great.
Bought that right after he won the match.
There's
Right,
a shirt with someone's face on it.
that's a great shirt. Exactly. There's a shirt with someone's face on it. But I just felt like maybe that is for time because there was some fucking amazing spots in that match. You saw there was time where I forget who it was, but one of them was slamming the hand of the wrestler into tacks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I was, but
Thunder
like,
Rosa was doing it to Britt. Yeah.
yeah, like that's the thing in AEW. They need someone. They need to be honest. They need someone like a Ziggler or someone, like a seller, who come in and be like, you guys need to like slow it up a little bit for TV because because you're underselling these like amazing, violent moments where you're like putting your body so on the line where like you should be. It should be more like anticipation. Like I recently just rewatched the Foley. This is not even a criticism because it could be for time. It's just like it's almost like I want them to get their due. You know what I mean? That we watched the Foley Taker King of the Ring match, obviously the Hell in a Cell, and like they tease him falling on those tacks for like a while, and when it happens, you're like, oh my god! Now they don't need to do it that way because that's more old school and dated at this point. But they shouldn't undersell a power bomb into tacks. You know what I'm saying? That's my one minor criticism of the match, but it's almost a compliment. You know what I mean?
I mean, just talk about two professionals. Like, I mean, like this is what you get out of good storytelling, which we've been deprived of for a very long time. Like, it's man, it delivered. The crowd giving a win to a hometown native is so dope. Like, I can't tell you how crazy everybody was going for that entrance from the mariachi band to her coming out when she had the full face paint on. I was like, oh, she's definitely winning today. Like, I just knew it. You knew it.
So
it
much.
was
She was
undeniable.
so emotional too.
Yeah. They did. There was no interference. The cage was there for a reason. There were shenanigans with the referees. They just played all the hits. It was violent as fuck. They bled like very early on. Like, it was such a good, very well done booked story. It's crazy because the hiccup happened because Revolution wasn't a good match. Like, it was arguably probably the worst match of the night, right?
Mhm.
And it's because the interference, and then you're like, well, how are they gonna fucking recover for it? But they had a plan the whole entire time. It's like, oh, we're just gonna delay until we get it to San Antonio, and you knew it had to be in a cage, and you knew that's how it was gonna change. And like, they got the new title into. It's just really, really slick and well done. Like, you can't really. Britt Baker is easily one of the best professional wrestlers in the business. I mean, what a fucking worker, man. Like, she is so good at what she does. Like, better than most.
Yeah, to be honest, and Vanna Christina for the YouTube. This is a YouTube bonus. Christina's showing off my merchandise in the back, which I appreciate. Keep
Solid
that up.
merch.
They can see me.
Yeah, they'll be able to see you on the YouTube video.
Hi.
Okay.
These are my boobs.
No. Okay. All right, folks. Hey, it's a wrestling podcast. It's a wrestling podcast.
We're 16% boobs now.
Yeah. This podcast is now 0.1% Christina's boobs. But yeah, look, I think Thunder Rosa is a deserving champion. I loved all the emotion of it. Moments like that make that AEW title like matter. Is that because you saw how much it mattered to her? We need more of that. So I think that was great. I said I had my criticism of the match but was almost a compliment in a way. So loved I loved it. I watched it twice. Totally. Well, let's go jump to the Jericho segment. So the Jericho segment is interesting. I love Jericho's outfit. I just want to say. I mean,
Right.
he looks like $1 million, right?
His hair is what the change to do his hair like that is
Flat
just
Iron
such a-
Jericho.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I like the purple and the glove.
Yeah.
I think it looks. It's a cool look. Here was my flaw in this. First off, it's like he's forming a new stable, and like that's fine, but I don't care about really any of those guys.
Mhm.
Daniel Garcia, I don't get at all. I know Tullo's gonna jump down my throat for it.
I'll go back on it when I go back on it, but I don't get him at all. You know?
Well, I think in this context, he makes way more sense. Like they brought it all home for everybody. Like they made everybody the reason why they're in that stable makes sense, which is that's all you ever want, right? Like, okay, now we know why Daniel Garcia is there. You know, like it's good. That's sick. So now you get to see this new era of this version of Daniel Garcia. It didn't make sense before. He was just a guy from the Indies, which is something a lot of the criticism is going to be on wrestlers like that until they get over here. But like I always say, you have to have faith in AEW to give it time to make wrestlers work. What is that? Penis crown?
All right, Christina,
You're gonna get us.
you're out. You're going into
Demonetized.
timeout. You got to go to timeout.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Okay, good.
This
Okay,
is
good.
an embarrassing display.
I can't control her. She does what she does, folks.
That's true.
Yeah, but I would say is that he said sports entertainer, which I think is a cool idea, right? It's a cool idea. I would say two things. One thing I would say is I think we could have used Jericho to take more of a break before he started this gimmick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit like here's just a weird pivot out of nowhere. But I think in a couple weeks we'll forget that, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? But I did feel like he came back as this after the Eddie Kingston thing, you know? Like we just had the Eddie thing. It's not, and they didn't really tie those together for me in a way that like worked, which was like, even though they could have, but I think it wasn't seamless. Would you agree?
I can say that it was though, because it's really he justified it by saying why he's like those guys never appreciated him, you know. So like he made them tap out, he embarrassed them, and you know then they beat him up, which is their goal is. And I'm just being very literal with the sense of what the Jericho Appreciation Society is.
Yeah.
But it was I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's just all it is just goes to show, and I will give you this is that. When you talk about Adam Cole, like Jericho's doing this again. He's reinventing himself. He found the new way to be relevant. Like he's allowing you to sing Judas, right? Like it's very funny. It's very good, and he will get so much heat for it. Like, and it's the right way to do this version of Jericho. If Jericho's going to be this, he might as well play the version too.
Well,
you know,
I'm interested to see how what it actually pans out to be because he was like. Yo, he's like a sports entertainer. It's like we don't use our regular name, like we use our normal names. I was like, is that what a sports entertainer does? I think that's not what a sports entertainer does.
Right.
It's
No,
off
no.
game. It's
Yes,
off game,
off
right,
game.
Newman?
Yep.
Right?
Off game.
Like a sports entertainer would be called like the Lion.
Right. Or just Lionheart.
So he cut a promo. It was like I'm the sports entertainer, but it was very similar to the origination of the Inner Circle promo. Where he was like, that's bad creative and blah, blah, blah. So you wouldn't acknowledge creative either if you're a sports entertainer, right?
Right.
So actually,
Right.
I thought this whole thing was sloppy, you know? You know what I mean? I thought it was like, you know, and and to be honest, my bet is that this was not that well thought out for Jericho because he's
Probably
pretty
not.
good. That being said, I think he's going to get it over. I think it's a great idea. You know what I mean? I think a guy, and I think he should team up with not these guys. Don't team up with indie guys. He should team up with a faction of WWE guys, right?
Right.
It should be him, Hager, Sting, like or whatever. Like should be all like guys like, yeah, we're sports entertainers, right?
Right.
Well, now he is the coolest indie wrestler. This Daniel Garcia. How is he a sports entertainer? It doesn't actually make sense, you know. So. I'm not sure where he's going with it, but I think it will work. I think he didn't think this through, is what I think. I think that he has got a lot of creative freedom out there, and I think that this was an example of Jericho not really being told. But he will
Here's the
realize,
thing.
oh, that doesn't
He
make
knows-
sense. That doesn't make sense. He will realize
He knows
that.
by saying sports entertainer that he will get heat. So he did it, right?
Right.
Now he's like, all right. He's going to use this and build on it and dig even deeper into this to do all the things that get the trolls and everybody up in arms about doing all that shit that's going to get heat.
Because I would say a better version of this gimmick that's going on right now, I think is the best thing going on in WWE. Obviously 100% biased, but it's Ziggler saying WWE or NXT. You know?
Yeah.
Like that version of he's like coming in. He's like, I'm a superstar. Sorry, I don't wrestle wrestlers. Like I'm a superstar. You know.
Right.
And like that, and like him coming in. Like, did you see Ryan Nemeth? He had a fuck. Did you see his tweet? Someone posted it in the
No.
cow page actually. Yo, he posted a tweet. Did you see it, Tullo?
I think I remember seeing something.
Hold on, I'm
What
gonna
was
try to
it?
scroll and find it. Oh my god. Someone said a tweet said, "Where's Hunter?" with a question mark.
Oh,
He responds, "He had a heart thing. NXT turned pink, and now my brother is champ." You know,
Yeah.
like it's all true. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not even a joke, really.
Right.
It's just kind of like, where did Hunter go? It's like, oh, NXT turned pink before Ziggler was the champion. Is a really funny observation. You know.
Right.
So I think that like Ziggler's doing. It's weird that somehow that works better. That infighting over there works better than AEW. But that being said, I'm just skeptical about the thought process of this because it felt a little like indie guys and the Jericho being like, I'm a sports entertainer. But I like the idea. I think WWE could really use that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
worked really well live. Like worked very, very well.
So
live.
he was getting good heat.
Yeah.
That's great. He looks downright awesome right now.
Yeah.
Cool. What else happened on that episode? There's a thing I just wanted to talk about. I fucking forgot.
The 6-man tag in the beginning with
What?
Hangman.
What happened? Oh, I did want to talk about that for a second, but Newman, why'd you make that noise?
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about the Malaki Black on
Oh,
what do you call it?
Rampage?
You said six, and then I thought
that
you know,
also
where I went.
happened. We also had
What did you
Rampage.
think about that?
What the fuck do you think I thought about it?
Oh, you loved it, but why'd you made an interesting noise? I was confused.
Oh, because I mean, anytime we're gonna start talking about Malachi Black, I get worked
Yeah,
up.
horny.
You get
Yeah,
horny.
horned.
You
I
get
get
horny.
horned
You're
for
horned
it.
up.
Malachi horns.
Yeah.
And
I
what?
know. I will say that that fucking entrance is just as sick live as it is on TV.
It was. I love the little tweak of Malachi standing up and then them like joining his flank.
Coming into the forefront. Yeah.
I think that like Buddy Murphy fucking got over with his finisher,
Mm-hmm.
which is like not a thing that happens a lot.
No.
Somebody hits a finisher and everyone's like, "Whoa!" and then now they're a fan of his.
I agree. I mean, Buddy Murphy's he's just a specimen. That guy.
Yeah.
It's always just kind of a matter of time when he can find his moment. I was talking about how much I am in. Hangman Page entered at the beginning of that show, and with his cowboy pants and the whole thing, and I was just like, he just like completely
that gear.
Yeah, his gear was so fire. Just the cow
Holy
print.
shit, bro.
I love cow print.
Holy
obviously.
shit. The brown and the white. Oh, man.
Yeah, that was fucking funny.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit, man. All the Regal stuff is fucking great right now.
Yep.
The Daniel
Man.
Bryan, I love the Daniel Bryan Moxley stuff. That
I mean,
what a great way. AEW is like they have such a fucking. It's like if you watch WWE, they have this like whole useless mid card. You know,
Right.
I literally watch like Boogs and Shinsuke. I'm like, what is happening here?
Rick.
You know,
Way to ruin. Way to fucking just like not do what's
why
natural.
they cut his hair?
Why do they always
I'm looking
do
like
this? They look
fucking-
at somebody and they go, "You have a natural gimmick, a natural thing. We're gonna take that away from you and turn you into something else." It is utter madness, unhinged, unabated, freakazoid fucking insanity, dude.
They take it. Yeah, it's kind of just nuts. You know, and they even ruined things that I like in WWE recently. Like I thought Alpha Academy was a really cool idea. You know,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And those guys had actual shoot history and stuff,
Right.
and then even they made that with the scooter race, right? Tullo, that's what you're about to talk
Oh.
about, the scooter race.
drove me fucking insane. Like, but it's funny because it's like when you have good actors like a Chad Gable, like someone who actually is just an incredible performer, they make a scooter race work. Like he
Right.
makes all that shit work. But like now they have someone making it work, and they can't even like, and then they'll just stop it. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, but we got WrestleMania coming up, so we need to get serious, boys.
Right.
We need Alpha Academy back in this tag team match. Let's figure out a way to do it without all the fucking shenanigans.
Right.
Well,
Oh, the baby shit.
I guess they're probably banking on the pop of like Orton and Riddle, like just like he's gonna them beefing at the end, right? They'll lose the titles and then just fight it out at Mania. RKO Riddle, that'll be something. Set that up for post Mania. I don't know. Hey, I'm jumping somewhere else. Do you think they're setting up? They're gonna go right into Jade, Britt Baker?
I don't think so.
No. I was thinking.
No,
maybe
I think
Britt-
Jade's gonna face somebody from outside of AEW. Like, I think that's the smart move. Say that there's no one left in AEW, because right now there really isn't. Like,
There's really no one to wrestle Jade. That's my
Yeah.
point. Is that the only person is Britt, but like the way AEW works, testament to the fucking great structure they have there. It's like now she's got to like build her record back up, right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is really cool. It's like I totally dig that. Did you guys see McAfee's promo or Pat McAfee? Did I say it right? Yeah,
Yeah,
McAfee.
you actually did say it right for the first time.
Yeah, I get it
There we
right
go.
now. He cuts such a great promo on
Yeah.
SmackDown. Like he really is talented. He gets on the microphone and he's like engaging. It's kind of the cadence is all kind of right. It's not just like yelly and blah blah blah, but it is yelly.
He
and
does.
like
He does do the thing that you gave him criticism, which he did again this time, and he was doing the Rock stuff and the fucking. He's had to do for the millions and millions.
right.
Like
yes,
dude,
yes.
just do your thing. Do your thing, bro. You got this, man.
Right.
Like you don't need to do that stuff. But he brings it. He like it's like. Does anybody else see what he's doing? He actually is trying to make this matter. Like he's putting in effort. It's like effort. Like it's something that I think if it was done a little bit more on WWE, it's like it's one thing to be given something and you don't think it's gonna work, but like if you commit to it, I'm sure Chad Gable doesn't think a scooter race makes any fucking sense in the world of Alpha Academy, but at least he's putting the effort in to make it work, right? McAfee does that, so it's like, I'm actually kind of excited to see him perform out of most of the things on WrestleMania, just because he's making you want to be like, oh shit, all right, cool. Like this guy can perform. He knows what the fuck he's doing, and obviously the stage doesn't scare him.
Right.
Yeah, so I totally agree. It was like he was cutting this promo, and I was like, this is cool. And they called him down to Vince McMahon's office, and I was like, all right, I like this. And then Austin Theory comes out, and you're just like, yeah, but who cares about this guy? Like, who cares about him? He's such a like nothing character who like has you're like, I don't even know what his deal is at all. And then like Pat was getting him over by calling him a douchebag and stuff. Like he was doing a great job.
All
You're
they
like,
had to do.
I wish he had a better opponent, like Miz
All
or
they
something.
had to do was have like McAfee cost somebody in the Royal Rumble. God, I wish it was Bad Bunny or something, right?
Right.
Like, and then that starts a little feud, and you get like McAfee versus Bad Bunny at fucking WrestleMania. Everybody would be going fucking crazy for it. No one gives a fuck that Pat McAfee's gonna beat Austin Theory at WrestleMania. And something tells me that they're possibly might put the U.S. title on Theory right before Mania, and then have McAfee beat, because I don't
Tullo,
even,
you just stumbled on the idea that will save WWE.
yeah.
Celebrity deathmatch.
Yeah.
They need to stop pairing up the celebrities with wrestlers,
Uh-huh.
and then it needs to be Bad Bunny versus Pat McAfee, right? People who are both outward facing talents who are not from WWE, who have fan bases outside of WWE, wrestling each other.
Yep.
Johnny Knoxville versus fucking, I don't know.
Johnny
Darby
Mundo.
Allin.
Johnny, no.
Let's get it on.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
that's, I mean, a liability, but it seems fun.
I have every bit of confidence that Bad Bunny and Pat McAfee could put on a fucking incredible match. Way better than
Bars
what.
low, so.
Yeah, way better than what Pat McAfee and Austin Theory is going to be.
Right.
Yeah. I think that the what was I gonna talk about? Oh, McAfee. I was like, I think that. Oh, I have a separate thing. Bad Bunny. You mentioned Bad Bunny. I don't remember this. I I I was thinking about. So my buddy posted Bad Bunny video. He was like at Barclay, and he was like, "Yo, I'm at the Bad Bunny concert or whatever." And I was like, "You see how big of a star he is in his context, you know?"
Yeah.
And all I was thinking about is like how cool it is that like he was in the Rumble this year, and that's probably just one phone call for him, right?
Right.
Like that's so fucking cool to just be like, I want to be in the Rumble this year, and all you gotta do is like call your agent, and then it's like it's done.
It is
Like
done.
wrestling is so accessible for a celebrity of that caliber. Like you do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
To tell us die, right?
And then I was like,
It is
do you-
finished.
Do you think Bad Bunny could have been like, I'll be in the Rumble, like I need to win the like? Is there any world where he could have won the Rumble with the proper ask?
Yeah.
Like, where's my point? Is like, where's the
Where's the
line?
line?
Yeah. Like, where's the
I
line?
think it's
Like,
less of an ask and more of a Vince idea that would actually make that a reality. Less of Bad Bunny asking for it to happen, you know?
Right.
who? Because I guess they only have one. They're unifying the titles for whatever reason, you know. With the story there, and then they had they had Brock this week showed up with the cowboy. You know, he rammed Roman's car. You know,
Mhm.
with you know, I'd say this. I'll give them a little bit of credit for this. Like, you're looking at Roman, and I'm looking at Brock, and I'm like, these look like two guys who they look important, and they are, and they're gonna clash. You know. And they got looks, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it feels big time. The match feels big time.
Mhm.
But then sometimes I'm like, when I actually see it, will I feel it? You know? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure it will.
Did you
know?
see SmackDown this week?
Yeah.
I mean, Brock carrying out that fucking car door is one of the fucking funniest things.
Oh
ever,
my
dude.
God. Yeah. So
It is.
you just reminded me because I was like, was that pre-taped or not? Because if it was, it probably had to be, right? It had to be. It was 100% pre-taped. Brock was holding a door in Gorilla, like waiting for his cue, right?
Yeah.
And then he was huffing and puffing, so he clearly like ran. He had to get himself so that he was worked up because you know, and you could see he did. So he did like some push-ups or whatever, but it was like fucking hilarious.
Effortlessly carrying that door, by the way. Just throwing
Yeah,
it.
effortlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like,
love that
no-
detail. That it was like he like
It's
was
gotta
driving
weigh, what,
away.
like 60 pounds. You
Yeah.
think?
They couldn't piece together that segment for the life of them, okay?
No.
They got fucking the guys running into the car, the forklifts coming. Why are they not trying to get out of there? Like they pan back to the forklift like 15 fucking times. Finally hits. There's no one in it. They go back. They're in it, right? They get out.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
running around the arena only to go to a car that was right next to where they were the whole entire time.
Yeah.
And they had like Brock like come over and look at the car. It's like they couldn't even get that part right. But then they just sweep it all under the rug have him come out with the fucking door and do some crazy fucking shit. You know, like it's just
Yeah.
What a world.
oh man.
Yeah, it's it's wild. So do we agree about my Cody booking? Do we think that's what's gonna happen? Like at this
Yeah,
point,
most likely.
yeah. Do you like fuck man, like so here's the bummer of it. I was watching Seth this week, so on Raw he did like he's doing a pull thing of like I have no path to WrestleMania gimmick, which I can look past the bullshit of like the fact that like yeah, but Baron Corbin has a path to WrestleMania with Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre, you know, like
Right.
you know, it's like you're you know, he means like I need a meaningful match or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
That's always examples of WWE where it makes no sense. Where I'm fine with it because you don't have to overthink it, but there is no structure where it's like how do you get in Mania, you know?
Right.
But he's so in this goof zone that like when Cody shows up, I can't imagine this feeling that awesome. You know, like I mean, it'll be cool because we'll pop for it, but it's not like Seth is in this zone of like even to give credit, the Taker, the Taker Cena thing is the closest thing I can think to it from 34, right?
Right.
And that at least Cena came out every week and was like, answer the call. right? Remember, he was like, answer the call. He's like, fine. Undertaker's not showing up. I'll just be going as a fan. I got my ticket. And to his credit, I sat right next to Cena, like right in his zone. He was there as a fan. Notoriously used the urinal right before Arlen.
Right.
And then he came out and Arlen went in the floor seat urinal. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
he had a security card with him, but he didn't have like a special bathroom, you know?
Right.
And everyone was like trying to get his autograph. It was cool. He was wearing a WrestleMania 34 t-shirt, you know? It was like
Everybody wants an autograph from John Cena after he uses a urinal where there's no running water for him to wash his hands,
No.
for him to pick up a pen and just grab stuff off of
pre-COVID.
people. Yeah, just
Right? Was it pre-COVID? No.
this is
Was
pre-COVID,
it?
yeah. This is
Pre-COVID.
the 34. This is already 4 years ago.
2018?
Yeah. But that had a build, even though so this is tough because you want to see Cody Seth Rollins not as just like you
yeah,
want
like,
to see
what is how does Cody
no
even
story.
come out? What sound? What music does hits? What like is he gonna come
yeah,
out?
there's no story. It's like
to
what
Dusty
a
Rhodes' theme and then have polka dot on these. I don't know.
I wonder if could they even do this where like Cody doesn't, like kayfabe doesn't leave AEW, and then he shows up. You know what I mean? Like he his contract expires, but they're like, all right, we'll put you on TV for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? And then he shows up, but we all think he's still part of AEW.
No, I think he's done being on AEW.
No,
now,
understood.
but
I know,
yeah.
but so he missed the opportunity to do that. If that's even something they could do, like I don't know how contracts work.
Well, I've been saying that it was like kind of like going to be a work, and with ROH, Tony owning ROH, it would be like, man, it was right there. Just have like Cody fucking win the ROH title, right?
Right.
But now that he's signed over there, but I will say this, and I'm just going to derail a little bit here, but Tony Khan has his hands in WrestleMania weekend. There is an ROH supercard. He is running that card.
Mhm.
So Tony Khan is involved WrestleMania weekend. Wrestlers will be down there. Like it's going to be really interesting to see how that dynamic works. Where it was, there was never a thought that
All
he
this
would ever be
and
there.
all this
AEW's
mention,
yeah.
all this mention of the
So-
Forbidden Door over the last several months.
Mhm. You never know what might happen this weekend.
Predictive
that weekend.
programming.
I don't know. I'm excited for Cody to be a part of all this. I think it's crazy. I really honestly think that we have blipped onto another universe. I think the AEW fans might have actually drove Cody and Brandy away from AEW. Then they are just like, you know what? If we're gonna fucking do this, I might as well go fucking.
In what way
Yeah.
would they? In
WWE.
what way? In what way would they drive?
Just
them
like
away?
they were like in the story of the content, like in the context of the story, trying to force Cody to be something that he wasn't, and
Right.
booing him pretty much off the stage.
Got you.
Brandy not getting any love. She couldn't even get love when she was across from Dan Lambert.
Right.
Like so like in
that's a great point. It's very possible that like
in reality
Brandy
they
was like
kind
we
of
should
like
go back, you know?
like
Because-
let's get the fuck out of here for a little bit, and like if we're gonna do this, like go do it where you can be a superstar. Like honestly, that's what everybody talks about now. It's this whole talk like WWE superstar, professional wrestler, like
Right.
sports entertainer kind of thing.
What a fucking
And-
time, man.
it's mind blowing.
What a time.
It doesn't really actually make any sense, and that's what's getting me excited about this weekend coming up, is that I think we might be entering the true anything is possible era of wrestling, where we don't know anything that's going to happen. We don't know who's going to show up where, money's available, like this shit is back full force, live shows. Like this Mania is a regular Mania weekend again, same as all the other ones, and it's in Dallas, and it's going to be massive. And I really think anything's possible. I think we're going to see a lot of crazy shit go on that weekend.
I totally agree. I just cannot wrap my head around Cody being in WWE. It's still like I can't even picture it. What they're saying is that he's going to be on Raw and like a mainstay on Raw. So that being said, if you unify these titles, right? What do you like? Cody feels like a guy you bring him in and he's the champion, you know?
Yeah.
So
Immediately.
now we have
I
unified
think he
titles.
might win money. I think he's going to win the Money in the Bank contract because it's in Vegas.
Oh,
and
that's a great call in the Allegiant Stadium.
I think he will win Money in the Bank. Honestly, I wouldn't debut him until then. Like I would just sit. Fucking opponent that someone gets taken out.
While he just gets fucking nasty jacked.
Yeah, get nasty jacked. replace somebody in like Brock did that one year. Come up, win the fucking briefcase. You're either gonna get a ton. You don't know what that reaction will be. It's either gonna be crazy cheers or
Do
fucking
you know who
throwing
he
beer.
should come out with? Hunter.
Yeah, I swear to God, I was thinking, here's the booking.
They
Seth
need
comes
Hunter
out.
for Mania, right?
Here's the
That's a
booking.
great point.
Seth comes out and he's like, I got no one to wrestle. Hunter music hits. Everybody's like, oh my God, Hunter versus Seth.
Oh,
He goes,
Kingslayer.
I brought my guy. I brought
There's
my new fucking
always
guy." Yeah,
a plan
was it-
B,
Yep.
and then boom, or
Boom,
plan
Cody.
C
Yeah.
for Cody.
Yeah. Oh my God, a plan C.
Yeah,
Well, it's
that's it.
Cody coming out and then
Written.
you guys are fucking
I-
smart as shit. Him
I've been
coming out
thinking
and
about
being
this.
with Triple H is like the
Yeah.
most heel shit you
So-
could ever do.
And they should be like, you kind of have the storyline there.
then
Hunter's
we
not
get
running
back-
NXT anymore.
Yeah,
He's got to come up and start his own thing. So he starts like the New World Order with fucking Cody, and they
Oh
start
my
a whole
God.
revolution. And you have Hunter coming in and bringing
my
in
God.
outside talent now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
There
I'll
it is.
never do it.
No, this is never gonna happen. Let's
No.
clarify.
Seth
that.
Rollins is gonna come out at WrestleMania. I'm a wrestle.
Hey, he's gonna
Adrenaline
get-
in my soul. Something. Cody Rhodes.
Okay,
No,
so
I
that's the
swear to
thing.
God, he'll probably come out.
That
in
song,
Dusty's.
by the way, I think my prediction is that that WB can get that song
Right.
because it's a
feel like it's a
downstate
s-
song. I don't think it's an AEW didn't buy it. He had that song before, you know.
Yeah.
That was his entrance song on the Indies. So I
And it
doubt.
doesn't seem like that's something AEW would even do. You know?
Yeah. So I don't think AEW owns that track. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think he can come out to that song. So that'd be really smart. You know what I mean? And Miz already comes out downstate. So I don't think Vince is gonna be like, I don't fuck with downstate.
I don't like downstate.
That's anything. And I know it's a stupid thing, but like he needs
More
that
of a
music for the pop.
five-finger death punch guy myself.
And I mean, Cody's clearly gonna come out probably. Man, yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but it's gonna be just a way to like he's gonna beat Seth Rollins, and then it's just a way to be like, hey, Cody's here and he's powerful. It's
Right.
not gonna be. Don't expect what they should do with it. But man, it's a fucking bummer. That's a bummer that. And look, we're speaking too soon, so we don't know. But it is a bummer that we have to lower our expectations of Cody debuting in WWE. I mean, you know what I mean? That's a bummer. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Last thing I want to say, Newman, is what do we? I mean, what do we do? Malaki, like, I'm loving what he's doing, you know, but I do think like I wish that they mattered more on the show, like, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know he doesn't like need a title per se,
No,
but he feels so far away from of the like the core cool shit going on WWE or the core relevancy of it. Like he's not in the title picture.
Right.
He doesn't seem to be like operating in the same like zone of like the Daniel Bryans, the Hangman Pages at all.
Yeah.
And it's like how long do you wait? He's not a young guy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think they're trying to not oversaturate it, and I think that they're trying to not, blow their load too soon.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like right around now they need to get some gold. They need to somebody needs either tag champs or somebody needs to be a champ, or maybe one final member of the House of Black, and then they finally fucking let loose. But I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree. It's just I think that I want him on every episode, so
Right.
I'm not the one to judge. But so I think that they are slow playing it purposely.
Yeah, just part of my brain that's just like I'm done waiting for Malachi to be like the top guy. Like he's done
Right.
he feels like a guy who's like not rewarded for great work, and it's part of my beef with Adam Cole. It's like
Right.
it's like his work is mediocre, you know,
Right.
and he's rewarded for it. And Malachi's constantly reinventing himself and this and that, and it's like right now, if you look at the trajectory of the championship, it's Adam Page. He's going to be going through Adam Cole, and then Kenny comes back, you know, and then
Right.
it's like, what does that lead itself? I mean, it feels like Cole and Cole and Kenny will go do their own thing, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, but if they're smart, it's like
Let's
it's
miss Adam Page sooner than
yeah.
later, baby.
something.
You know?
Yeah, like You
or
know,
have him
but-
wrestle Moxley or Daniel Bryan, or you know what I mean? Like just someone fucking mage, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because like now too, it's like they've spent so much time not like kind of like middling around in the mid to lower card that the lights going out after like a Moxley Danielson win and it's them, would be incredible.
Because like Andrade is a guy who feels big time or whatever, and like
Yeah.
it's but it's kind of a bummer that he's just kind of like, I don't know how to say this, but he's kind of not like he's great, super talented, awesome, a guy I would sign instantly, amazing look, but he must be, I don't know what his brain for this business is, because like he never gets over a hump for me, you know. And you could say it's booking, but they have a lot of creative freedom over there, you know? And so I don't know. I just always feel like he cuts promos and they're kind of lame and he never gets there for me. Is that fair? Is that wild?
I mean, it's
Unfair?
your opinion.
Yeah, is that, but I'm not, I wouldn't argue it. I guess I'm throwing it to you.
I think he's definitely on the right direction to doing what he should be doing in AEW.
I mean, the only thing I would change is let him cut promos in Spanish, put a subtitle on.
100%.
That's
He
it. Done.
Yeah.
And they've done that for him, I actually think. So I think just needs to be a little bit more consistent.
Well, he's also been bopped around a little bit, right? He was with
Right,
like
yeah,
Chavo
they got-
for a second, and he's getting
Yeah,
thrown
they
all over
gotta,
the place.
they gotta find a little bit better
Right.
of a thing for him.
Yeah. He should just be a heavyweight guy who has one translator with him. He
Have we
cuts his
gotten
promos
Moxley-
in Spanish, you know?
Have we gotten Moxley Andrade ever?
I mean, maybe as like a one-off, but it's, maybe as like a one-off, but
I would love to see that.
there is this zone in AEW that's it's like that mid-card zone or whatever, and it's and you can mid-card's just the wrong term, but
Mhm.
where I'm like, you have to be doing engaging and interesting stuff in that zone. Like that's where Malachi is like the king. He's the
Mhm.
king of like, it doesn't even matter what's on him interesting. But like Darby's always pretty interesting, even when he's out of title pictures,
Mhm.
And I find that I'm never really engaged by what Andrade's up to, what Pac's up to. There's a couple of guys where I'm just never, they
What
don't
Pac is up to? I'm still waiting for. I think he's gonna eventually
join, right?
join. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be fucking cool.
Either
Just
him or
stable of
Penta.
either jacked or huge guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Anyway.
need to get Buddy Murphy needs to get a few dozen tattoos though. He looks like a fucking mole rat
Yeah.
out there.
All right, before we go, one small thing. Malachi started the match, and I love that the announcers made a big deal about that. That's very small, right?
Wait a minute. The announcing in general during this match was off the fucking wall. Like Jericho was in love with House of Black, and I think it was shoot. Like, cause his reactions to stuff, calling Malachi Black a Chris Jericho level genius. That almost made the match for me. Was
So-
Jericho's reaction to them.
To Dan's point, I mentioned this in the Discord thread, but they did this really dope thing. I took a really awesome picture of it, but before that match, all three of them were in it, and they lined up in the corner, and then whoever was going to wrestle first stepped up, and the other two went out. So it was Malachi. So he stepped forward, and then
Right.
the other two just went right out of the ring. And I was
Right.
like, oh, no discussion,
Yeah.
nothing. It was just like, we know what we're about
And
to
then-
do, you know?
When they fucking wrecked house on that whole team, and then all three of them stepped to the hard cam and just
Yeah.
fucking posed.
Yeah.
Just like, who's gonna stop us? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Man, talk about Buddy Murphy too. His gear was that all black gear that he had.
Yeah.
Man, they just are.
And then the way that popped, I was interesting the ending of that. I saw in a picture that it all happened simultaneously because in the TV version it was done
Yeah.
in sequence.
Yep.
And I don't know what would be more impressive. Like I think probably seeing them all do that at the same time was
Live seeing them all do it at the same time was wild.
because it was probably just like a what the fuck?
You can literally see me in the crowd, and I'm like losing my fucking mind. Because
Amazing.
Jungle Boy, Hangman, and Luchasaurus
Get
did a
it up
spot
on
off the
Hangman.
turnbuckle on Dynamite all at the same time. They all did moonsaults,
Yeah,
which was sick too. There's just
it's the best.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I got to run, dudes. Good shit. Could talk all day. I mean, again, look,
I can be down on WWE and Mania and blah blah blah. The spectacle of it will be a fucking great time. It'll be in that awesome stadium. It's gonna be great. And like that day when you turn on Mania, you'll be like, "Oh, cool! This weekend's Mania." It's always, always, always fun. Your
Right.
glass will shatter. Stone Cold will be there. What? 1 beer,
What?
2 beers,
What?
3 beers,
What?
4 beers,
What?
5 beers,
What?
6 beers, 7 beers. You've seen
What?
those memes?
Yeah,
You see
yeah.
those? That's so fun. That's so stupid. I love that. And that'll be fun. But boy, oh boy, like, this has got to be one of the worst builds ever, if not the worst builds. Wasted Elimination Chamber, wasted Rumble win, unifying titles for no reasons. We're not seeing Cody. Ronda's not clicking. That's the main, like, the first thing. The crowd's not into Ronda at all. She
We're
can't
on
get
The
the-
only thing that this Mania is missing is a little Shane McMahon, baby.
Yeah.
calling
We're on
somebody
the,
stupid.
Yeah. We're on the It's making fun of people with disabilities.
I don't think Bianca and Becky, did they even have a segment? this week?
Bianca's
I don't even
injured.
remember.
Bianca
yeah.
might not be.
Was that real?
Bianca-
I don't
That's
know if that was
fake.
true to work. I thought that
That's
looked like
fake.
that
I don't
looked
know,
like
they was
a
posted
that
on
looked
Throat
like a
injuries.
work.
Throat injuries. Where
The
doctor was
larynx
like,
injury is not even a real thing, folks. The larynx
It was
is
a
made of
weird way
titanium.
that they described
hyroid.
it.
It was like a
due to
hyroid.
the
Yeah.
Becky pulling on her hair.
Like
Yeah.
as if she pulled it. Get the fuck out of here. That's
So
such a
they're
work.
doing something. Really revolving around the hair. Where I don't know if they're going to do something crazy where she doesn't like rock the ponytail, because it's possibly going to cost her, or they like kind of mentioned that that Becky was coming for the ponytail, and I don't think they would cut it off. But
If they are, are they stupid enough? Are they
Yes.
tone deaf enough?
Yes.
These are the questions you need to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Is WWE tone deaf enough
Yeah.
to have Becky Lynch
Yeah.
cut off Bianca Belair's
with Brutus the Barber Beefcake
hair?
scissors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
big old shears.
Yeah.
Are they tone deaf enough to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get ready for it.
Horrific optics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Horrific
Yes.
optics.
It's gonna happen.
There is an entire cultural thing with hair and African Americans.
Yeah, well, I missed your point on that. But
If they cut, you know what I mean?
no, I
is-
say I had to do something else for a second here, so I missed it. And when we talked about something sensitive, so I want to be honest, I didn't hear what you said.
No, I
But
said that is WWE tone deaf enough to have Becky Lynch cut off Bianca Belair's hair,
Oh.
given the known cultural implications of that?
Oh, 100. Vince would just say, like, just even you watch his interview on McAfee's podcast, you could watch, you see he would just be like, I don't care. I do what he's like, I don't, I do what I want creatively.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
I mean, I listened to this random Patrice O'Neal interview a long time ago on like O&A or something someone sent me recently, and he's interviewing The Rock, but Patrice is there. I don't know. And Patrice O'Neal was writing for WWE. He's like, I worked there for like 3 days. He's like, he's like, this shit was crazy. He was like, someone came in, it was like, I don't want to wear the turban because it's disrespectful to my culture. And then he was like, Vince was like, you're wearing the fucking turban. You're wearing it. And he was like, that's how it was,
Yeah.
And so I don't think Vince has changed that much since then. You know what I
No.
mean? Based
No,
on that
there's no
interview
way.
with McAfee. So, all right, I got to run, dudes.
Unbelievable.
Good shit.
All right, dude.
Everyone, check out DZ Does Dallas at .eventbrite.com. You can get tickets for the live show 331. Tullo will be there. I will be there. Dolph Ziggler, the NXT champion. We know for a fact he'll be the NXT champion at that time. We'll be there. Patreon.com/comedians wrestling. Follow me at Dan Black Attack if you want to support my improv show. I would love that. Follow at Last Improv Show. Follow at Tiptoe with Tullo. Tullo's always yelling on Twitter. Newman at URS A form, correct?
Don't follow me
Don't follow him. But you do have some funny wrestling memes sometimes in there.
sometimes, but that's
Okay.
for my people.
Everybody, keep watching wrestling. Cheers up. Kisses.